Hey, I'm Tori Porter, and I'm the CEO and founder of iFox Fitness, where I online train dozens of women to get foxy by annihilating their stress and becoming a priority to step into who they really are as moms, wives of first responders, and military members, as women with big aspirations. I want each of you to walk away with a piece of power you can use to do the same. Each week, I'm going to go give you an inside look of what me and my Foxy ladies are doing and how you can create and apply these principles to your regimen so you can step into your Fox mode, where you are most confident, your love life is booming, you're a master of your day, you are strong, feel beautiful from the inside out, and well rested. Why? Because a woman who can do that can do anything and handle much more. You ready? What up, what up? We are live here on Find Your Fox podcast. It is your host, Coach Tori Porter of iFox Fitness. And it has been a while. I just got back from vacation, much needed rejuvenation and bringing back new perspectives and just light. More and more light brought to me in that rejuvenation so I can continue putting out just so much more helpful value and tactics and just motivation right now for all of you ladies out there. So I'm trying out this new thing today where I am broadcasting live in my group at the same time that I'm doing this podcast here on my Spotify and Apple and everywhere that you can find your Fox podcast. So that is pretty awesome. So we're everywhere. We're everywhere. So today I'm going to talk about, in particular, having confidence in your decision making skills, in your intuition mainly. So there's this thing in our mindset that keeps us trapped whenever we face something that's like very indecisive, right? We feel like we got to stop and think about it and overcomplicate things. And we tend to do that when something really, really matters to us. And that is honestly a protective mechanism in our survival skills as a person, as a human being with a cognitive brain. The older we are, we tend to dial things up a lot and amplify it into all these different complex routes in our brain when we have different decisions to make, okay? Very, very vital ones, to the point of, it can kind of scare us and halt us from even taking action in our lives, in so many various ways that we need to actually put forth effort into changing something we don't like, or making something better, or taking us out of a situation that's probably toxic, okay? The same goes. So this entire life picture we essentially have is we are human beings and we want to be pulled towards love and acceptance and positivity. So we drive ourselves towards pleasure and we pull ourselves out of pain. Now, this looks different for so many people. Not one person handles things the same way. We are each complex in nature. We have different ways that we grow up in an environment, in our perception of the world, right? So that affects what actions and reactions we have. But at the end of the day, as we become adults, we have to continuously remind ourselves that we actually have control over that capacity, okay? And it's really hard to have those set of glasses on, that vision, that confidence for actual control in our lives when we feel pretty fogged down by a lot going on in the world, okay? Now this question, like this topic, came from one of my Foxy ladies in our group, in our community, and I had covered a group coaching this past Sunday. So bi-weekly I do live group coaching with all of my clients, and we talked about a mindset topic particularly about restoring your motivation in really, really dark times, which was another topic one of my other clients brought up that she would love to benefit from. And it was a fire topic. Let me just say that. Fire, absolute fire that I spat out for them. And I made them do this homework. And we got really deep and really vulnerable because that is really needed to really transform, to really bring to surface things that are really paining us in our lives that, you know, either intentionally or unintentionally are holding us back. And I talk about this all the time. Whenever I'm transforming somebody's life through their nutrition, their health, their total lifestyle, we keep reaching new hurdles in their journey, which that's supposed to happen. We can't pretend that that's not supposed to happen. We have these hurdles in our journey amongst transformation when it's inevitable that we have to jump, and we jump that hurdle together. Okay, so we might have jumped multiple hurdles in the beginning, but they can't negate the fact that there's going to be another one, because that's how life is. It's always throwing us lemons, and we got to make some lemonade. That is like my favorite quote that I always think back to, and I just love lemons. Um, but we jump over these hurdles. We have to tackle them, but we often have to remind ourselves that we can jump it, that we're able to jump it, that we're able to make a decision when things get hard again, okay? Because even now, 5 years after my postpartum transformation in my health and fitness journey, I still am reaching new challenges that I triumph and then I put out on my social platforms, and I'm like, hey, this is what I learned recently. Here you go. Learn from me. Right? So we have to continuously face it like this. And it doesn't mean that it's hard. I am not insensitive to how hard life can be, because trust me, I know. I've got that in my own life. And the cool thing about me working with military and first responder spouses is that I am myself, right? I connect to them on that deep level, in that sense of knowing how their lives go. Okay? I know how it is to embrace that suck. I know how it is to miss your loved one. I know how it is to send somebody out the door and not knowing if they'll come back, knowing that you got to hold the fort on your own, and you got to do so many things on your own. You feel like a one-man army, right? And that's essentially how I help my women really gain control and confidence in their bodies, their health, their financials, their relationships again, is tackling all of these areas within their transformation. And that's what truly empowers me to wake up every morning and put smiles on other women's faces. Because I've done that myself, and I know how it feels, and I know how it strengthens you from within to actually do so. Okay? So this question came up under our group coaching, right? My client said, I'm struggling with my husband's job at the dangers that come with it. It's always on my mind, but some recent events have hit close to home, and I'm struggling with that reality at this moment in time. On the bright side, though, thanks to you, I know how to work through it, which is awesome. And another thing is that I've chosen to send my kids back to school. I worry that I may not have made the right decision, because if they got seriously ill, it would be really hard to forgive myself. I worry about our country and where that's headed to. This is the epitome of why I am talking about this today, ladies. We cannot control the uncontrollable, and that is just an undeniable truth. And we have to face that reality every day we wake up and we're trying to parent our children, and we are sending our loved ones out the door to go have at it again in this world that is so heavily, heavily drowning in political noise, in hatred, and negativity, and like so much garbage, and just like, honestly, entertainment shows, even like, uh just like random entertainment, like those those shows where people are like doing games and stuff. I'm like, this is so uninteresting right now because the world is so raw and real right now. Like, it just seems so fake and far-fetched. Like, I don't even have the interest of watching anything like that anymore. And I barely did back then, but just it seems like everything is just so fake. And it makes it really hard to know what is the actual truth. What sort of certainty can we cling on to right now? Because as human beings, we cling on to certainty. That is how we can relax and let our barriers down, let our guards down, and truly have stress management. That is how the cortisol gets pulled out of our bodies and we start to recover. Okay, so this is just mom life. Anyways, we have this sense of and this need to cling on to certainty right now in these times. And that is a part of our survival, but we essentially have to create that ourselves, number one, all the time as military and first responder wives, because it is that hectic and chaotic, and we're basically solo a lot, anyways. But now more than ever, we've got more water to tread. Okay, that's in this caption. We've got more water to tread, and we don't know how deep it is. We don't know how long we're going to be treading that water. I want you to really envision that right now. And imagine yourself just trying to tread water. And you don't have a life vest. Okay? And you don't know.
It's 11 o'clock.
And you don't know when help is coming. So, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stay in a state of high stress and just continue to like gargle on water as you're like sinking and trying to float and tread water at the same time? Or are you going to adapt and get a little stronger and tread a little harder and deeper and holding and controlling your breath, your breathing, and controlling your mind in that moment? And perhaps you'll survive a little bit longer, tread a little bit more water until then maybe help does arrive. Third party help arrives, and you reach out for that help when the opportunity presents itself to you. Perhaps you reach out for help when you know you need it most. Do that. Or perhaps you learn to swim. Someone in your little group that you're stuck with, like if you just like you're stranded out there from a plane crash, let's just say that's how you're in the water. Somebody's like, oh, wait a minute, I know how to swim. I'm going to teach you how to swim right now because you need to know how to swim right now. And that's kind of like me, right? I'm essentially that person in the depths of the water with you, teaching you how to swim, even though I'm not literally a good swimmer. I'm good at this health and fitness stuff. I'm good at nutrition. I'm good at lifestyle, and specifically my specialty in military first responder family life. I heavily sink in the research in the abundance that this type of lifestyle has to offer, as far as the positivity and the negative sides of this lifestyle, and how I can be an attribute to that process for women, because I myself saw that there wasn't necessarily something out there that directly addresses the needs of women like me. So I became that myself. And so, yeah, I teach women basically how to be that swimmer in the storm, in the depths of the water, not knowing how deep it is, not knowing if a shark attack is going to come get you, right? We can't live in fear within the treading of the water, okay? Because you might not get eaten by a shark at all. You might not have rescue, but you sure damn well are going to learn how to swim, so that maybe when things break a little bit, you get yourself on that island, okay? So I just love throwing out perspectives like that, and just having people have a vision, like a picture to focus on when we talk about these mindset topics, because that always helps me really put it into action. Okay, putting some thoughts into action, um, realistically, and how that looks like when we are in a panic mode versus calm and control. And we don't gain that overnight. We actually have to work towards it. Okay, so my client's like, I'm struggling with my husband's job, right? And the dangers that come with it. That's a given, especially right now. It's really sad what's going on. It's really hard what's going on. And we so badly as wives want to stand up and fight against it and protect our husbands and our spouses' integrity, because that's just natural. That is what comes natural to us because we love them. We know their truth, and how good most of these people are. And, we have advocates coming out now holding peaceful rallies and talks and stories and some news here and there from trustful sources. We're starting to see that come through, which is good. There's actually people doing that fighting for us. That doesn't mean we can't be a part of that, but we also have to know our role at home, okay? So it's like a soldier, they have a duty and a job to do when they're called to it. But what do they do when they're home? Some soldiers get lost in that, but you can't neglect the duty you have at home too. This is why there's a lot of reintegration training following deployment and stuff, with family and relationships, and just how war and deployments change people, which we've had to go through as well. So I know that side. But we have to know our role as wives, because okay, let me give you an example, because you might be the one who is in this job, right? But if you're not in the job and your role is at home, whether you are a stay-at-home spouse, mom, or you have a part-time or a full-time job too, which honestly you're lucky if you do, because there's not a whole lot of jobs that have the flexibility to do so. As a first responder military family, it's really, I mean, some could argue you just have to be in the right niche, in the right job field to really hold a secure job, I feel like. And the more and more women that I meet in this circle of women in this family lifestyle, they all have flexible jobs that allow them to either work remotely, or their bosses just really truly understand and they set their schedule. They're allowed to set their schedule how they need it to, even if it changes through rotations. Like, that's essential, right? But we have to know our role, even if we are a working mom or we're a stay-at-home mom. We have to know our role, in that we are still bred and like risen to have the DNA of a nurturer. And this is just a part of our genes, our genetics, and our ability to have those skills come naturally. So we're ultra sensitive to things anyways, which kind of goes, why we can really get frustrated easily. We can get hormonal. We can get very edgy and hangry. Um, this plays a lot into our hormonal balance, which is again why we need to be in control of your cortisol state, because this is one of the most heavily reasons why women in this particular circle, military and first responder wives, why they tend to gain weight faster than, somebody who might have gained the freshman 15 or whatever it is that they call it, right? We tend to pack on the pounds a lot faster within like a 5-year stretch, because our bodies are handling a lot more stress load. And then you add 2020 on top of it, and it's like an explosion of just stress and anxiety and overwhelm and just crap. just crap. And we can easily be very bogged down by that, especially if we don't necessarily have the habitual routine of taking care of our mindset health and our body health. If we don't have those things, we're essentially tearing apart and self sabotaging that healthy momentum we would otherwise thrive on. Okay, so that's my job, to go into women's lives and fix from the inside out, and essentially pulling the inner beauty and the womanhood and the strength and the capacity to handle all of these things, even in these times. So, on the flip side, we have to worry about the government and where that's headed with the upcoming elections, not knowing who our new president's going to be, not knowing what the direction of this country is going to be, how far bad people are really willing to take this thing. Is there going to be a civil war? You know, there's so many like conspiracies, there's so many just, what do you call it, cyber warriors, keyboard warriors. There's just so much of that at this point, and it is kind of scary. It's kind of scary because we don't know what kind of world our kids are going to grow up in. We now have to worry about what is being taught to our children in schools. And now we have to worry about, am I going to have a job? Am I going to be able to go to work? Am I going to be able to not get sick with COVID-19? There's a lot of speculation as to how serious COVID-19 actually is. And I would even go as far as arguing that, if you are actually taking control of your health and nutrition now, you have better odds at deflecting your body against it. I'll tell you that. It is best to, even though this might be a truly, really bad pandemic, let's for a moment, like doubts aside, let's just say it really is. Are you gonna sit down and like really take crappy care of your body and not care and just feel like a victim to everything so that, you're more receptible to getting COVID-19? I would certainly hope not. I would certainly hope not. I would hope that you actually do what you need to do to not be a statistic, or at least prolong your defense mechanism in your body, your health, and armoring your true health, so that way maybe you don't get sick with COVID-19. At this point, it's basically inevitable. I forget the term, my husband called it, but it's a true term. It's like habitual adaptation, or like immunity. It's like societal immunity. I don't know. It's a term like that. I'll have to look it up. But, perhaps it is something like that, where we all do truly have to get it in order for it to not be considered a pandemic. Maybe we've all already had it, and so some people are just still suffering with it as the numbers roll in because they had poor health to begin with, or they were more susceptible to the worsening of those symptoms. We don't know. Even scientists are still trying to figure it out, and they're still trying to make a vaccine. Now, there's a lot of scarcity around even getting a vaccine because it's just now being tested and things like that. Nobody wants to truly be a guinea pig. No one wants to believe that the government's doing something weird with the vaccines, I can't tell you what the right or wrong answer is. Even you can't tell yourself what the right or wrong answer is because there's just not enough information. Think about way back in like BC times. You think those people knew how much calories were in their food? Nope. They just know how they felt when they ate food, which honestly is a good intuition as a whole. And this is something I teach all of my alumni ladies after they graduate the FOXY Ladies Lifestyle Academy, is really building their intuitive, healthy lifestyle with how they feel and how they can control their macros and their calories and their energy, surrounding their maintenance, what their true maintenance is, and just maintaining their body composition at that point in a flexible, carefree way, not being so obsessed about, macros and numbers. Macros and numbers matter, but You have to first get there with a flexible approach that allows you to learn and have the knowledge base to back that up, to actually have a true intuition versus, oh, I'm feeling really hungry right now. I'm just gonna go have this fast food and, maybe binge eat these things later at night because I had a bad day, right? We have to have actual true intuition that allows us to be like, hey, this banana is perfect right now, this salad is good, and I'm gonna pair it with this like pasta chicken dish thing, perfect, wholesome, nutritious meal, right? Strategic vitamins and minerals that somebody puts into a smoothie, right? That type of intuition. So essentially, we have to do the same again with our mindset, because our country, our world is in like this whirlwind of chaos, and our spouses are being thrown into the mix, having to calm the chaos. They are the line between the storm and the calm, okay? That is how I like to envision that. And that puts a lot of pressure on us because it makes us worry. It makes us very, very uncertain about the future. But I will tell you this. This is what you're going to need to, so you're going to write this down probably. This is what you need to do right now. You're going to take out a sheet of paper and you're going to write down what your true beliefs are, what you think your beliefs are about COVID-19. What are your beliefs about COVID-19? Like, just forget about all the garbage. What are your true thoughts and feelings about COVID-19? Okay? Now, second thing on this piece of paper, what are your true thoughts about the importance of your kids going to a physical school? Whether that's a charter school, a private school, a Christian-based school, or a public school, whatever type school that you usually put your kids in, or you're looking to put your kids in. What is the actual importance of that experience to you as a parent, and also for them in your eyes as a parent, okay? What is the importance of that? Why do you think school and education is so important? And perhaps the difference of them going to actual physical school versus them doing like an online school with their public school, or a hybrid. I know that some states and counties are opting for, certain number of days a week because they're controlling the capacity of students, the student body within the school, if it's a large school especially, or with young kids even. Um, Write down that difference that you feel like it would make long term. Okay, don't think about just this year and how they may or may not miss their friends, but think about the long term. Even with the uncertainty of not knowing exactly, what may or may not be taught in schools in the future, you can opt to take your kids out of school. Remember that you have the capability as a parent to take them out of school. So, does it help you getting involved with the school more? Give yourself a reason that you can perhaps believe in it for the time being. Because if you can perhaps give yourself that type of comfort in your control as a parent, you can be like, you know what? I don't know what it's going to be like years in the future, but I'm going to do this right now because it's best for us as a family right now. It's best for my child or my children for right now because it's of this importance for their long-term gain, okay? Because you can't get this time back. You cannot get this time back. You can only move forward. So, what you do right now, yes, it is vital and it matters. But you need to own that decision and that intuition that you have, that capability that you have, that you're doubting probably currently because of all of this going on. You need to make a decision that feels right for you. Maybe that is literally homeschooling your child yourself because you feel if that lets you sleep better at night, if you feel like that's going to take less stress load off your body, that's probably more worth it to you right now. Okay? There's a lot of women I've talked to who are like, I can't even fathom trying to homeschool my child, especially if they're like in the older grades, right? And they're learning some hard stuff that you might not be equipped with, right? You didn't go to school to be a teacher. That's why we have teachers. Well, maybe that's the case. Whatever that is for you, you have to own that decision and be okay with that right now. And knowing that you can rest assured in your decision, in your power as a parent to be like, okay, well, this isn't working anymore. We're going to now take them out of this scenario and do this instead now. We have that ability to go from plan A to plan B to plan C to plan D and so on. Okay, that is what this entire military first responder lifestyle is like anyways, because we're constantly having to switch our plans and stuff because of how the scheduling stuff works. But now you add this to the mix and the heavy responsibilities we have as parents, and perhaps you don't have the choice and your schools are completely shut down and you're like, absolutely not, we're not moving, we're not near any other schools, and this online homeschooling is just what we have to do now. You have to give yourself some peace within that as a parent, knowing that, you can actually adapt right now and just put a little bit more effort and action into what you need to do to accommodate them by building your skills. It doesn't mean that you're a sucky parent. It doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing something, because the number one reason why you fail at something is if you tell yourself you're going to fail before you even start, right? So if I absolutely had to homeschool my children, I'd be like, well, damn it. This sucks, but I'm going to have to put my head down and work now because I have no other options and I'm going to make it work, okay? Versus somebody who's really struggling through it, and then you're projecting that struggle onto your children is only going to make their process a lot harder, right? So you have to put your foot down as a parent and have the confidence in your intuition, your gut feeling right now, no matter what the uncertainty you have is in your beliefs around COVID-19 and our government and all of this stuff, and do the best that you can. And I know that's a lot easier said than done, but it's better to make a decision, stick to it, and commit to it than have the follow through. Okay, so imagine a golf swing or a baseball swing, and that coach is just constantly telling you, you gotta follow through, you gotta follow through. All in my ice hockey days, the reason why my slap shots wouldn't make it to a certain area of the goal, it was always for what my coach said. Tori, you gotta follow through in your slap shot. You gotta angle your stick up so you get it in the 5-hole. Who's my ice hockey fans? Am I right? You should know this. So you have to follow through. Write this down. Decide, commit, take action, follow through. 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 What do these habits create, you guys? What do they create? Positive mindset attitude, which is a momentum that you create through results, driving results in your life. Okay? You seeing your child excel at school, learning how to read, that's going to be proof that your decision mattered and you did good. Okay? Despite the judgment of others, despite your initial doubt of making that right decision, if they're doing good and you're actually seeing progress, you done good, okay? But you're not going to be able to see that if you're going to be so wishy-washy and very stressed out in general, okay? So I hope this helped today, ladies. This is the episode all about really taking control of that intuition. Have a good day.